Alright, Telio there, champs. Today we're here at the ASUS product launch event right after PAX Australia 2018. So you want to upgrade that Windows Home to Windows Pro or get killer prices on Windows, Office 2016 and cheap gaming keys, head on down to 0 and 9, make sure you copy and paste my code from the description box and get prices that will make you go Woo! So this event is to launch some new products that ASUS has been going on for a little while and talk about some of their existing ones and get to meet and talk to some of the engineers from big companies like Intel, Nvidia, and obviously game devs as well, and not to mention some of the big higher ups from ASUS as well, who are pretty happy to show off their pretty cool new gear. So it all kicked off with them talking to us about their new gear like routers, computers, video cards, and all those stuff that they already release. And then we also too got to go hands-on and have a chat to the actual people who worked on them to find out a little bit more about them. Now, one interesting thing that they did talk about with their new Z390 motherboards was their AI overclocking. Now, in past, you'd basically just click the overclock button and the motherboard would kind of figure out what was going on, but now there's a lot more information here where the CPU and the cooler will be analyzed and you'll get a percentage score for the CPU in terms of how good quality the silicon is and then how good your cooling solution is. They said it takes about 5 minutes, so you drop the CPU in, you drop the cooler on top of that, it'll analyze it and will tell you what kind of quality of silicon you have and also to what kind of quality CPU cooler you have. So if you have a rubbish inbox CPU cooler, it's going to give you a lower score than if you have a nice higher end water cooling one. Then the motherboard will take those scores, do some mathematics and give you an estimated overclocking speed that you can expect out of the CPU that they claim is bang on just about every time. Also in motherboard land, the Gene series is back, so if you've been hanging out for the ROG Gene series from ASUS, that is definitely coming back to their new form factor motherboards. And speaking of form factors, there's a lot for small form factors here, like this little ITX guys, and a lot coming down the line in small compact computing. Also in the PC world was monitor land, and also too they were showing off quite a few monitors like this sweet ultra wide ASUS ROG Strix XG49VQ. It looks pretty decent and has some really nice viewing angles from wherever you may be sitting. But the thing that did grab my eye was this USB-C battery-powered monitor, which we'd seen at other trade shows, but this thing is absolutely awesome. What it is a really nice quality IPS display where it can be just plugged into any USB-C device and offers a full 1080p display. It has a pen to hold it up if you don't want to carry around the big bulky case, meaning that you don't need some specialty stand. A simple pen can hold it in landscape or portrait mode and really is interesting. No matter where you're on the go, this thing will work. And the best bit is it won't drain your device's battery, as again it has a built-in battery. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a touch input or any pen input, but they did hint at maybe something coming down the line, maybe in the future. Over in the networking world, they were also too pretty excited to show off some of their really cool pieces of tech, including this absolute monster, the ROG Rapture GT RX 11000. This thing offers speeds of over 10 gigabits per second. Not only does it perform well, it absolutely looks like a monster. Honestly, if I saw this in the networking cabinet, I might be a little bit concerned. Though that being said, the throughput may be 10 gigabits per second, however there are no 10 gigabit connection internet speeds here in Australia, and also too the ports on the back don't support 10 gig networking, so it looks to be just 10 gig Wi-Fi, which was a little bit of a downside, but hey, 10 gig over Wi-Fi still is pretty decent, and we're looking at more 1 gigabit per second internet if you manage to get somewhere with that connection. They also showed off some of their mesh technology, which allowed them to use multiple routers and access points to give your house full Wi-Fi coverage, which would be really great if you lived in a place with spotty connections. It's great to see that they're making a push here. And speaking of connections and pushes, we have Amazon Alexa connecting up your house with their brand new smart home speaker setup. So they'll be releasing this soon, and it seems to be that ASUS is jumping on board with the smart home technologies. It does feature Alexa, and it does have some pretty decent speakers. The demo that they did give was pretty good, although we'll have to have a look at it independently to make some final conclusions there, though it doesn't have a screen and they didn't talk about any screen versions, so if you want something like the Google Home Hub that we recently checked out, you may want to pick that up instead. And if you're more interested on the PC side that ASUS is offering, they've got a few different options coming out with this cylinder tube looking PC that offers full-size video card connectivity inside of it, so whether you want to put the new RTX 2080 in here or a Quadro card, this thing is ready to go with a fully socketed CPU ready to support the 9900K. Whatever you need, it is ready to go. Oh, and it also too has water cooling, so you can drop in a high-end CPU, drop in a high-end video card, whether you want to do some pro application stuff or you want to play some games, this thing should be ready to go. There's also too a modular PC, this little guy right here that has the PC in the top section, and then the base section can be whatever you want. So they were showing off a Quadro Expansion module that allowed you to connect up to 6 4K displays to this machine, which may not be great for gaming, but definitely is also too great for things like digital advertising or medical applications where you don't need high-end graphics, but you do need a lot of display output. So this thing was really cool, and it uses this interesting little connection bridge between the two, which I thought was good not to be using cables, but at the same time leaves it a little bit closed, and you are relying on ASUS to deliver here. All in all, there was plenty of RGB, like this RGB router floating around, and also to plenty of custom PCs that have existing ASUS products here but are still interesting to have a look at real quickly. From their categories of monitors to projectors to headphones to routers, ASUS has got you covered for really anything in the PC space, and some of their new gear that they've been talking about looks really, really interesting. And until next time guys, tally ho.